Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to College Week Live Major Week. You are in probably the best session to get started on your major week is the top 5 tips for choosing a major. My name is Aaron Elliott. I'm a University of Missouri graduate of the business school. I've been working with academic advisors in colleges, high school counselors, students, and parents for about the last 6 years on exclusively helping students find what their strengths and weaknesses are and to connect them to the right major. A few administrative things to start off. You have a question forum where you can ask any questions throughout the session today. If you have any technical difficulties or anything like that, the College Week Live staff or myself can help out. If you have a question, we'll address all the questions at the end, and that way you can get anything you want answered. So we're going to go ahead and get started. What is the importance of finding a major? You all are here because you're looking on specific ways to find the right fit for you. The ACT did a study that the availability and strength of a student's intended major was one of the most important factors in choosing their future college. The University of Colorado State University did a study that found that new freshmen with a declared major have higher graduation and retention rates compared to undeclared freshmen. You all know what graduation is. If you don't know what retention is, that's when you stay at the same school for multiple years. So you don't switch schools or transfer out because you don't like the school. And finally, which is why it's so important to plan early, is 50% of students change their major at least once, which means that having a plan going into college or early on your college career will extremely help you further and to graduate on time. Let's talk about a few major myths first off. Picking a major and a career are not the same thing. Many people think that if I get an English degree, I have to go write papers or write in the newspaper or do something specifically around writing or English, the English language. Choosing one major means giving up on all others. Many students have dual majors. They have minors to supplement each other, to complement their education, and to also make them more desirable for a future career. The third is the major that you pick now will determine your lifelong career. That is also a myth. You've probably talked with your parents or friends or even teachers who have switched careers multiple times. And then finally, I should just take my general ed classes now and figure out my major later. Although taking classes helps you understand more about a specific degree program, that can be very costly and can hinder you from graduating on time. So let's look at a little further on that. So college and career readiness, a study out of California found that 84% of students thought that they would graduate in 4 years. Well, the reality is only 38% of students actually graduate in 4 years. And you know, going an extra year, 5th year, 6th year is not a bad idea if you need that extra time. Maybe if you switch majors or switch schools, but with the cost of tuition continuing to rise, and even when you go to college, it's not going to be the same by your senior year. It's more important than ever to figure out your plan as soon as possible, take the right courses, take the right classes, and set your plan to graduate on time to not take as much debt as possible. So here are the overview for the top 5 tips, and then we'll go into a little bit further on the specific steps. So number 1 is to really self-assess yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Then gain experience and ask questions from peers and mentors. Set your personal and professional goals. Then create your college and career plan to then further that education to get that major degree. And then finally, speak with an advisor, a parent, a mentor that might say, hey, this plan looks like you, or this doesn't look like you. So number 1, self-assessment. So there's 4 main areas really to assess yourself and the strengths and weaknesses that you may have. Number 1 is academic achievement. So looking at your grades in specific classes, what's your GPA, your ACT, SAT scores, and your course achievement. So what classes have you taken in high school or college? You know, if you're maybe a freshman or sophomore in high school, you haven't taken a lot of classes yet, such as biology, chemistry, so on. But you kind of have a general idea of science, English, business that you might be interested in. So many students, you know, say that they want to go into a veterinary program, biology. I want to be a doctor. Well, you have to think to yourself, what grades did I get in biology? Did I actually like biology? I, for one, was a marketing major in my undergrad. I wanted to be an accounting major. Well, to get into the accounting program, you had to have a 3.8 or above. Well, I had a 3.7, so I couldn't get into the accounting school. So you always have to be watching your academic achievement and your grades to really get into the right program that you really want. The second section of the self-assessment is to really figure out your aptitude. So do you have the ability to complete this course, and do you actually enjoy it? So just because you get straight A's in all science courses, do you like those? Is that something that you want to continue in college? Because your junior and senior year of college, you're only going to be taking those types of courses. The third section for interests really helps you to understand, what do I like to do outside of high school? What do I like to do in high school that's outside of a classroom? What do I do in my spare time? Do what you love and do a career that you're really going to be successful, but also be happy, and it is important. And it is really important to find that major that you're going to be happy and successful in. And finally, what type of personality do you have? What are your values? Do you want to work with kids or adults? Do you value working indoors or outdoors? What's important to you? And also, out of these 4 sections, what do you hate? Think about, if you don't know what you like and you like a little bit of everything, start with what you don't like. So if you don't want to work with kids and you're not really good at public speaking and you don't like science courses, you can start to filter down and try to figure out what's the best fit for you. Myself being at the company I'm at in my majors, we have a free quiz that you can take online. If you go to collegeweeklive.mymajors.com, after all the sessions today, when you have time, or this following weekend, you can take a quiz that'll recommend college majors. So what the assessment does is it measures your aptitude and your interest to recommend your top 5 college majors. It only takes about 15 minutes, so it's pretty quick to get in and get out, and there's no cost to you, the student. If you are sitting at home, or you can do this on your cell phone as well. When you get your top 5 recommended majors, you can research specific majors. If you already have a couple majors in mind, it's really important to research these further. And also majors that you don't know what really it's about. Management information systems. If you're good with computers, you might go into management information systems, but you've never thought of that major before. Research about what the type of student that goes into that major, the description, related majors and courses, colleges that offer your major, and even specific careers that you could go into. You can search for specific colleges that offer your major. If you're thinking about starting at a 4-year school or a 2-year school, you can find specific colleges that offer your major, which is very important to obviously getting your degree. On the website, you can research 7,200 different colleges. You can look at specifically the majors offered, the types of degrees. So if you're going to go into a major such as education, psychology, biology, you might need to go to grad school to really be someone that might get hired later on. Looking at the school, you can find out admissions information. So what ACT, SAT scores on average do students get accepted? What are the graduation rates, like we talked about earlier? The campus life, the diversity, and also the most important is what's the cost of going to this school, and can I afford it? So you can go and look at specific programs. You can even look at different degree types. So if you want to go into business, you can see if they also have an MBA program there as well to continue your education. You can look at different schools or different students that went to this school. So of the freshman students, if I'm going to UC Berkeley and I'm from Washington, how many students go there? You can look at the graduation rates, and like I mentioned earlier, those admissions tests. You can find out if you're a good fit for this school. And a lot of students don't want to go to a too cold of a school or too warm of a school based on the weather, so you can research that. See if this is really a good fit for you. Based on the major that you're selecting, the school that you're going to is so important in the campus life that you're on, if you're going to enjoy your time there or not. And then finally, like I mentioned, the tuition to go to this school. So if you're going to get a bachelor's degree, what costs are going to be associated with that degree program. On the third tab there on your recommendations, you can see the My Careers. So you will see, based on the recommended majors, here are related career titles that are associated with that. Now you're probably saying, you told me earlier that a major doesn't equal career. These are career titles that most students go into, but usually you can use your major into really different broad career sections and categories. There are 42,000 careers to research, which are extremely helpful if you're looking to build your resume, if you want to go into a specific career field, to understand what it takes to go into this career. What internship do I need to go into this career? What skills, knowledge, values, work styles. Back to kind of what we talked about earlier, the self-assess, am I great in public speaking? Well, does this career require public speaking daily? And finally, you can get your advisement report, which this is a helpful document that you can share with your parents, your advisor. You can print out, it'll list your top 10 recommended majors all for free. And if you're just joining, the website was just collegeweeklive.mymajors.com, and you can download your free advisement report. And it is a self-assessment to take a 15-minute quiz, and it'll recommend college majors. So the second step, after you kind of think of a couple majors you have in mind that you're interested in, there are 5 sections that will really help you understand personally if you are a good fit for this and if you're going to like it. So number 1 is the advice from others. You're going to talk to people in that field. You're going to talk to your counselor. You're going to talk to your parents. Say, hey, I really want to be a dentist. What's that like? What's their day-to-day activities like? Look at professional associations out there. Really a simple way is to go to Google, and if you want to be a teacher, go to professional teacher associations. They'll have research on there. They'll have resources for you to find. They'll have videos and YouTube videos that you can watch to learn more about that specific major and career field. If you have the opportunity at your school, or get an opportunity, a job shadow is a great way to see what the day-to-day tasks are in this job field with this specific major. Asking questions of someone that's in that career field is so important to understand. Is this right for me? Can I see myself doing this 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 52 weeks a year? The summer job is a great way, not specifically for your major, but I really recommend any high school students or college students to get a summer job, to do anything to make yourself more marketable when you later down the road apply to internships or to a specific career. Not only can a summer job, you can make some money, but you can also gain some key skills in your area. So back to the self-assessment. If you don't like public speaking and you're not well to communicate with others, but you want to go into a major or field that requires that, go get a job as a waiter or as a waitress, and you'll be communicating with customers. You'll gain skills there that will be used on your resume, but also in an interview to explain different experiences you had and how you overcame any challenges that you had along the way. And finally, with the experience and ask questions, is to get an internship. I advise students as early as their sophomore year in college to start looking at internship programs specifically in their career field or their major that they're looking at to go into. As soon as possible their sophomore year. Really your junior and senior year during the summer, you should really get an internship. I had an internship my junior year and then my senior year, which were imperative for me, to get an interview with a company, but also to answer specific questions that came along the way. It's great experience, and you can understand, hey, am I right to go into sales? Am I right to go into education? Number 3 is to set your personal and professional goals. And this quote, our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success. Think about those words there in the blue. Set your goals by planning, believing, and acting. Without setting goals, you can't reach where you want to be. You're going blindly without a specific goal in mind. So looking at what you need to do, set goals today. Even if you just jotted it down on a piece of paper, like I said, talk with your parents or anything like that. What is your plan for a college major? You don't have to select one. Select 2 or 3 to really research and take courses on campus. What is your dream job that you want to have one day? And does that match up with your college major? Is your dream job realistic to, what really is the day-to-day skills in that? As a little kid, I always wanted to be an astronaut. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, go to the moon. And then I realized I hate small spaces. I could never go into a small cabin and be an astronaut. And I was terrible at physics, so that never really worked out for me anyway. Where will you go to college to achieve this career goal? So does that college have a great program, a great major program? Is the strength on campus? Are the professors people that you like? What is the college, though? Start writing down a top 5 list of the colleges you're interested in, because then you can go visit those schools. When will I get an internship in college? So make yourself a deadline that by my summer of my junior year, I will have an internship in this industry to get going on my resume, so that way when I graduate from college, I have something on my resume to then apply to specific careers. And then finally, which is very hard to think as a student when you're younger, is where will you be in 5 years after college and even 10 years? So as simple as, I would like to stay in near my hometown, or the biggest city suburban area near me. I would love to be making X amount of dollars. I would love to have my bills paid off in 10 years of my student loans. Start writing these specific goals out early on, and then you can check them off as you go. Not only that, setting your goals today, but by the time you start your freshman year in college, you're going to change these goals. You're going to adapt them to certain situations. As you change maybe your major, your goals are going to change. So always keep these up to date. The next tip is to create your college and career plan. So like I mentioned earlier, does my college offer my major? What future career options are there for students in my degree program? So students who go into business management, where do they go get jobs? What careers? What industries? Just because you get a degree in management doesn't mean that you have to go manage a restaurant. Many managers become CEOs. They start their own company. They work in nonprofits. You can be a principal at a high school if you go to grad school. There's so many different career fields that you could go in based on your major. The next question also to ask yourself while you're creating your college and career plan is, does my future career require an associate's degree, a certificate, a bachelor's, a master's, a doctoral? Sometimes you don't need to go to get a 4-year school to get a bachelor's degree to go into the career field that you're looking into. You might just need to get an associate's degree. Specifically, it's a specialized skill that you want to be trained in. You can go get your associate's degree and not take on so much student debt with a bachelor's or master's degree and get in the career field that you'd like. But it's important to plan that, because if you need to get a master's, you're going to be thinking 4 years for my bachelor's degree and then extra X amount of years for my master's degree. That also includes what kind of student debt, what loans you're going to need to take or anything like that, or scholarships to pay for that education. Finally, when you're creating your plan, and back to start setting your goals and creating your top 5 list of colleges, is visit the department buildings on campus. So when you go to campus and you meet with the admissions counselors, they normally take you to the quad or to the dining hall or the dorms, which is great to see. But really, if you can, go with your parents or your friends who you're with and go see the department buildings. So go to the business school, go to the education school, go to the journalism school. You're going to spend 2 out of the 4 years there in that building taking your core curriculum classes. And if you can, meet with the professors. You're going to get a good idea if you like the professors on campus, if they're the type of person, good learning experience, and see the classroom styles. If you're not afraid of a large classroom, go into the large auditoriums, sit in the back row, see if you can imagine yourself sitting there and being on that campus. All right, the last one is speak with your advisor. And I use advisor here broadly. Your parents, your coaches, your counselors, your AP teacher is your English teacher, your business teacher in school, or even a mentor that's not affiliated with any of those people. Talk to them about your college and career plan. Talk with them, use their advice, take it in, but you don't have to follow everything they say. And if there's any counselors in here, they might get frustrated at me, but it is your plan, it is your goal, but they have knowledge in these areas. areas. They know lots of people. They have neighbors that have gone into career fields or majored in a specific field. So use their information wisely. So talk to them and ask them, hey, after the 4 steps we talked about earlier, based on my plan, my academic profile, what classes am I good at, which ones do I like, I hate, my interests, my personality, will I be successful in this major to make sure I get into that field? Like I talked about, I had a 3.7. That wasn't a good enough GPA to get into the accounting school. Will I be successful at that college? So I want to work in small classroom styles. The college I'm going to is a big school with big classrooms. Is that going to be a good fit for me? And then also my career. Is my degree, when I walk up the aisle and I shake the dean's hand and I get my diploma, is that going to help me get a job out in the market? Or is it a great program to then continue my education to get my master's or doctoral degree? This is a big question that a lot of students don't like to ask, and I didn't like to ask it either. Or what are the future risks to my plan? This doesn't mean to avoid this major or career field. This is to make sure you understand the risks up front, so you prepare yourself. Is this career field is the job growth increasing, decreasing? Is it steady? Those are important things to ask yourself. If I'm going to get a job in this field, it is important. You can also look at money and salary. I would advise students to look at your cost of education with your salary potential, and don't look at national averages as much as state and local averages for your career. Someone that gets a job in New York City is going to be paid differently than someone in Lincoln, Nebraska. So make sure you understand that overall plan and what kind of your return on investment for your education is going to get you. And like I said, I'm not saying to avoid a specific major or a career, but make sure you understand the risks. And if it's something that you love and you're passionate about, then go into it, do it. But just be prepared for yourself upon graduation what lies ahead. Ask them, what advice would you give me to stay focused, to graduate on time, and get a job in my desired field? If you have a neighbor that's a dentist and you want to become a dentist, they know what it took in college, going to the library on Saturdays and studying, taking X amount of hours per week to study in the library. They're going to know those tips and ideas because they personally went through it. The simple to graduate on time, most schools require 120 credit hours to graduate. So laying out your academic plan and say, if I'm going to be a business marketing major, what classes do I need to take each semester to get to 120? And that usually averages out to 15 credit hours per semester. So the real key is your early years, your freshman and sophomore years, is to take some of your general ed required courses, but also some of those specific classes, marketing management, or a course that's going to go to your degree plan. Now, what's really helpful is to talk to an academic advisor and say, hey, I'm thinking about marketing, management, or finance. I'm not really sure between those 3. Talk to the academic advisor in the business school and say, hey, are there core classes for those 3 majors that I can start taking my freshman year? So if I go from finance to marketing, all my courses will transfer over to that degree program. That way you're not missing out on any classes or have to retake any classes because you went into the wrong course. So your advisors, like I mentioned, they have a great knowledge of past students who went into these fields. They know students who went in these fields. Use their advice and make sure your plan fits what their advice and what they're giving you. So what are some next steps here? First off, set your personal plan of study of your majors and career goals. So what do you like? What do you not like? Make a list of 2 to 3 specific majors that you want to go into. Research those further. Watch, learn more about those fields. Start selecting your college choice, your top 5 colleges that you're looking to go to. Do those colleges offer my major? Do they have strength in that program? What are the professors like? I would not advise just to say, oh, I'm going to go into mechanical engineering. Let's find the best school. Okay, I'm going to move to Connecticut and go into mechanical engineering school because that's the best school. I'm not saying that. That's not your personal best fit school. Back to, do you like a small campus? Do you like a large campus? Do you want to stay in state? What's right for you? And then what has a good program on campus? By visiting the campus, looking at the engineering department, do you like the building? Do you like the professors? Do you like the other students there? Can you see yourself studying there? That's what I mean by the best fit for your college choice. Number 3 is to get involved. Student groups, internships in the community, in your industry, your career field. Get a summer job in that field for resume building. This is so important, not only to understand if this major or program is right for you, but also for your resume. With the job market, with so many little jobs and so many graduates coming each year, you have to make yourself more marketable than the next student. So adding things to your resume that are relevant and that also make you more of a well-rounded person are going to help you stand out a little further. And 4, like I mentioned earlier, talk to your peers, talk to your mentors. So if you're a high school senior, for example, see what your friends are. They might be majoring in something similar to you. See where they're going to school. See what they like or dislike. Maybe they know someone in the field that you can go and talk to about your specific major. And then use resources available for you to research. Like I said earlier, if you're just joining, you can take the quiz that'll recommend college majors to you. It's collegeweeklive.mymajors.com. collegeweeklive.mymajors.com. And that'll, after 15 minutes, you put in your likes or dislikes, and it'll recommend college majors for you. Talk with the admissions and advisors at your college. Go to the website for the college. They have a wealth of information about specific courses that you'll go into. Watch videos on YouTube about your majors, college, and career. Make sure that they are relevant and they are good videos, and take their advice. If it's a student advice, take it with a grain of salt, as in maybe it's not the right major for them and they went into something that they didn't like. But they'll be able to, by watching videos, you can see what it's like to be a mechanical engineer and on campus if you can see yourself studying that for 4 years. Look at reviews of colleges and reviews of specific majors and careers. It'll help you understand, am I going to like this later on, and after 4 years of graduating, will I enjoy this career? There's 2 government websites that you can use. BLS.gov, it's Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov. On that site, you can search for a specific career field. There's job growth, there's salary information, there's descriptions of the careers that go even further to help you understand, is this right for me? Like I said earlier, understand your risks up front. If you're going to go into a major that might not have great job growth, make sure that you're going to a school that's a good fit for you, that you can make yourself marketable later on for a career. Use onetonline.org. This is a great tool as well that works with my majors. We use a lot of our information as well from ONET. These are specific tasks, skills, knowledge that is required in a specific career field. So if you're starting to become a sophomore, junior in college, you need to start writing your resume. And if you know that you want to become a mechanical engineer, tailor your resume to being a mechanical engineer. What skills? Use those specific action verbs to really write your resume based around your major career field. Now this is the last slide and kind of the last tip I'll tell you about finding your major. What your major does for you, what makes you, it makes you develop a specialized skill. It increases your knowledge in programs, computer programs, and best practices for processes to work into a company. And it also makes you marketable to future career fields. So for example, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a marketing major. I went to the University of Missouri, and I took a course on there called Online-Based Accounting. That sounds really boring probably, but actually it was a specific course dedicated to understanding Microsoft Excel and using formulas and writing macros and understanding analytics of different numbers to pull them together, graph them out, and to understand using a large group of data to analyze it and make sense. By doing that, I improved my skill and also made myself more marketable because I was able to be an expert in specifically Microsoft Excel, a basic program. If you go into journalism or an art school, you'll learn InDesign. If you're a computer programmer, you'll learn Cold Fusion or PHP or SQL. Those are skills that that if you go into a specific program, you'll learn, you'll understand. That's why it's so important when you get to that department, ask them questions about, are there specific programs we're going to learn? Am I going to be able to add these to my resume that I understand Cold Fusion language and I can be a web programmer for a company later on down the road? So, your major and career success depend on the ability to apply yourself socially, academically, and professionally. So, your major and career success depend on that. So, I want to just stress that just because you get an engineering degree does not guarantee you a job. And I say this because so many students think that if I don't need a summer job, I don't need an internship, all I need to do is just get great grades, I don't need to get involved on campus, I just need to get my degree and then I'll start applying to jobs. To be successful, to get a good interview, to make yourself more desirable to more companies is to apply yourself. There are usually specific associations on campus that you can get involved in the business school or engineering. Get involved. Not only that, but make yourself uncomfortable. And I say that because if one of your skills is that you're not a good public speaker, you don't like to communicate, go out to a social event at your school, at your department, and apply yourself there. Talk to other students. Talk to professionals. Even if you're a sophomore or junior, go to a career field where basically companies come in and they talk to students about applying there. Even if you haven't graduated yet, go there. Start developing those skills to talk to employers, because later on you're going to need that in an interview to make yourself stand out versus another applicant that's out there. So I just want to stress that just because you go into a specific major doesn't mean you're going to get that specific degree or that specific career, or that you're guaranteed a spot. You need to apply yourself on campus and do as much as you can to make yourself a good candidate for a future job. So, to review, the top 5 tips was self-assess, gain experience and ask questions about your specific major, set your professional and personal goals, then create your college and career plan, and then finally speak with your advisor and ask them, does this make sense? Is this right for me? Am I a good fit for this program? So, like I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, you can use the question forum over on the left. There is a couple questions here. I'll go through one of them at a time, so please bear with me. One of them was, what's the website called again? It's collegeweeklive.mymajors.com. You can visit. It only takes 15 minutes. Go to the website after you watch all your sessions today during Major Week, and then start to creating your list for your top 5 majors, your top 5 colleges. There's another question here on tips for using your major to graduate on time. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a great skill to understand a couple of your majors when you go to campus. When you're meeting with the admissions counselors, see if you can talk with an academic advisor and say, hey, here's the 3 majors I'm looking at. What courses are required to complete my degree? Normally, a bachelor's degree is 120 credit hours. In those 120 credit hours, you usually need to take 15 credit hours per semester to graduate within 4 years. So what classes do I need to start taking my freshman year, my spring or my fall semester to start learning, is this the right program for me? Am I doing the right things? And you're completing your core curriculum and core classes. So really talk to your academic advisor, talk to professors in that building, in the department you're going into, and ask them, what classes should I take? What should I start taking my freshman year versus waiting my sophomore year? You might want to take more broad category courses like general management your freshman year to see if even business is right for you. An engineering course later on. And this is so important. Back to one of my slides earlier about the importance of finding a major, is that if you're going to the engineering program, you need to start taking engineering classes your freshman year to make sure you stay on task to graduate. If you start as a business student and then decide to switch to engineering, you're almost guaranteeing yourself that you're going in the right major that you really want to go into, but you're going to add another year or two to your college, which means more student loans or any type of debt that you might take on after graduation. So that's why it's so important right now, and which is great that you all are here to learn more about it, but to really understand what are my strengths and weaknesses and start creating your plan and setting your goals now versus waiting till later on. All right, let me see if there's some more questions here. It looks like a couple students were having some issues with the video stream stalling. I believe, and I'm not 100% sure that this will be recorded, so I believe it'll be available later on to review or to watch again if you didn't get a chance. I just got confirmation that on-demand will be available shortly, so if you're just tuning in or if you the audio cut out or anything like that, you can watch it on demand shortly after this broadcast. So, all right. Here's a question. Tips for dual majors and minors. So, one of my advice on dual majors, double majoring in two different fields, and minors is think about when you graduate, are these programs, my minor or my double major, going to make me go into an industry or field that I really will be successful in? And let me give you an example is, if you go into economics, doing a double major as a finance can be successful to go into maybe the finance market, but as an economics background. I always tell biology students who want to be doctors, whether dentists, veterinary science, anything like that, really think about minoring in business or taking a personal financial planning class, because think about it, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a dentist, you're probably going to run your own practice, so you are a business owner. Think about that. You're going to have to manage accounting, you're going to have to hiring individuals. What's your bottom line? Costs, revenue. So really think about, is my minor going to, or double major going to supplement my future career field? But that's about it. So if you have any questions, you can email me, aaron.e@mymajors.com. Again, that website was collegeweeklive.mymajors.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. I hope you all have a great rest of your summer break and a great rest of the College Week Live Major Week. So thank you again for joining, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day.